Question
Welcome
is within the context.
at the tone. Please record your name followed by the pound key.
Abba Paltiel.
Thank you. You are participant number 1.
And the reason the question is asked is because, not because the question bothers me, but because I want to understand the full impact of what I'm learning. In other words, I'm not bothered by the fact that there is a question, like there is a table that stands in my way. I'm bothered by the fact that I don't understand the full ramification of this. And therefore, this is what the Gemara says, that Chachamim are always reflective. Because as I mentioned, I listened to it several times, I don't know if you put on, what is Sechel? What is a thing that is identified exclusively by Sechel? It's not identified by touch, by smell, by taste. It's known only to the Sechel. Excuse me, I have to go. So, therefore, coming back to your question, understanding Havana to a human being, to a Bas Sechel, it's valuable only if prior to that he has a perception on the chochmah level. Why is it that he has a perception at the chochmah level, but you need to understand? The answer is because he cherishes this chochmah, he sees the richness of it, and he wants to get it into himself. That chochmah. Not that he should be an understanding person and he can argue the point. That is not significant to him whatsoever. But that this chochmah should become real to him, that is very, very important to him. And in order to become real, he has to be absorbed, it has to be presented to him in his Havana level. Because that's the place where he exists, in the physical world. I remember, I told you what the Friedrich Rebbe writes in his Rishimus, in his memoirs. Very interesting thing. He writes about his Melamed at a very early age. The Melamed who taught him AyinBase. he says that this Melamed was a very Baal Poel, was a very effective Melamed. Among other things, with the stories and all that, among other things, he said that when Melamed was teaching an Aleph, an Ois, he would find an illustration of the form of the Aleph from the child's own experience. For example, he says an Aleph looks like a water carrier. Everybody knows what a water carrier is? Carrying water on two pails on a beam, on a pole. He says as a result of that, when the child was walking in the street, everything he saw reminded him of the Aleph. So what was the focus there? The ingenuity of correlating, or bringing the reality of his learning to him on a constant basis. Let's continue. We are, I don't know where we are exactly because we go back and forth, but we are going to start 5 lines into Ois Chov Hei on page Nun. The line begins with the word pratim. The Rebbe says, Ayin Sichli must have pratim. Because the whole Inyan of Sechel is to identify, to reveal an essential, a truth within a Sechel level, within an experiential level, a worldly level. Therefore, this nekuda, this truth that one perceives in Sechel comes forth in many pratim. It expands into a big structure. Like we give the example, a home is an essential thing to a human being. But once this home is conceptualized in the human Sechel, immediately there surface all the amenities of a home. And what does the home provide for the human being? Not just a place where he can rest, shelter. All the comforts that a human being has, that these comforts are not for the sake of comfort. These comforts are for the sake for the human being to be able to be in the world without losing his sense, his self-respect. As I've said many times, the human being doesn't put his face into the plate, he brings the food to his mouth. Why? For convenience. Because this allows him to eat physical food without giving himself up to the food. Remaining about a human being, about Sechel. Okay. That's the many pratim. In every Sechel there is a pratim. Okay, let's continue on this line. Shebechol eilo hapratim move on hasechel. Where through and within all these pratim, the Sechel becomes understood. Understood means that the person can personally relate to it. Let's understand the difference between understood and conceptualize. When a person conceptualizes, like a chochmah, he knows that this is the truth, but he personally does not live at this level. He lives at in a different environment, on a different level of experience. Again, like in the same motion, we say that a person eats in a certain way to maintain self-respect. In fact, when he is performing the act of eating, the spoon and the fork are necessary. On a practical level. Which means that these details of how he performs the act of eating are drawn from a higher source of the source of human respect. But they're drawn from there when he actually performs it and actually experiences it. He experiences the act itself. This means that he now understood what the concept contained.
In this case, what are the pratim?
The spoon and the fork. And the place. These pratim, the spoon and the fork and the place, and all of these things, everything that goes together in this, were included in the concept of self-respect. They were right there. And subsequently, when it comes to it, he focuses in on what is the mandate of how a person has to eat. And it comes to the practical thing, he can draw from there and say, aha, this is what it is. Okay, let's continue weiter. Amongst these details, yesh pratim, there are details, shehem pnimi yoser, that are more pnimi. I'll explain in a moment. There are more pnimi, more internal, pratim acherim, from other details, shehem bebechinas chitzenius. Nishar on a chitzenius aspect. Pnimi means they're more definitive of the reality of this principle. Chitzeni means they are less definitive, but they are more demonstrative of this reality. All of these things are included in the initial concept. Now we continue by that. Hine, behold, behashpo as ha-sechel meha mashpia el ha-makabel, when this sechel is being rendered, bestowed, coming from the mashpia to the makabel. Okay, so now let's put that in perspective. Meha mashpia el ha-makabel. Why is he a mashpia and he a makabel? They're both human beings, in essence. The difference is only that the mashpia has delved deeper into this principle of being a human being with his sechel, and he's identified this principle more clearly, both on the conceptual level, on the, so to speak, on the imperative level, a human being, on the, so to speak, on the fundamental level, and then also further down on the practical level. How he's coming to teach to the makabel this sechel. And he wants to give the makabel the entire sechel. The makabel will receive the sechel via the pratim that the mashpia will identify with. For instance, in our simple, very down to earth example, he will teach you, when you eat meat, you have to have a knife and you have to have a fork. And then you hold the fork in your left hand and the knife in your right hand. Cut off a piece, exchange the hands, put the fork into your right hand and put the knife into the left hand, and then pick up this little slice of meat with the fork, and then serve it to your mouth. And then again, repeat the action. Along with that, you have to be sitting on the plate, and the plate of food has to be in front of you, neatly put. And as you are attaching this food, so to speak, with your fork and knife, make sure the plate stands in place, nothing splashes around. And if something splashes around, wipe it off immediately. So he's going to, so to speak, bombard him with all of these details. And then at the same time, you should know that when you're being served a plate of meat, on the same plate there will be some side dishes. You have to be careful with the side dishes. Side dishes, you take a bite at certain intervals. Make sure that as you're cutting the meat, you're not pushing the side dishes off the plate. You're not making a mess. So if he's going to talk to him, but the makabel has no idea what he's talking about in a practical sense. He's going to be, so to speak, bombarding him with words, and the makabel will not know what he's talking about.
But the makabel doesn't relate to the greater principle he's trying to. The makabel doesn't relate to the greater principle the mashpia is trying to impress upon him. It doesn't relate to the particular steps along the way to get there.
No, the greater principle, he's never seen it. Mashpia knows the whole thing. The makabel has never seen a plate of food.
Oh, so for the student to relate, he has to have an inner sense of what's the point here? That the student needs to have his own inner sense of what's going on.
No. The student will get the inner sense, but the mashpia, after mashpia, describes to him all the pratim.
So he is sort of overwhelmed by details, but he uses those to point himself towards the inner sense of it.
This is the job of the mashpia, not to overwhelm him, but to present to him the pratim in a contextual manner, so that he grasps the full idea, and he knows what he's talking about. A piece of bread, you break off a piece, you don't bite from a loaf and put it down. So he gives him all of these. This is how he's going to present it to him, because the makabel does not know the bigger picture. Once he presents to him through the details all of these principles, then he begins to understand a little bit what this is about. Now, as I said in the example of the AyinBase, the teacher, ultimately, when this makabel will be sitting at the table and he will be served a plate of food, he said, "Oh, that's what he was talking about. Now I understand what this is all about. I know how to deal with this."
Is this marshal to illustrate yesh pratim shem pnimius yoiser and chitzonis yoiser?
No. This is the Indian from pratim. Now, pratim shem pnimim yeser, chitzonim yeser. In our example, let's try to identify pratim which are more pnimim, and pratim that are more chitzonim. You
just want to think of examples that you gave.
Yeah, what's pnimi and what's
is like, I don't know if you said chewing with the closed mouth.
What?
I don't remember if you said chewing with the closed mouth and not letting your food spill off the plate. That would be more pnimius in terms of the human being, but in terms of maybe the specific details of putting the fork in the right hand versus the left hand, that he could just do what's more comfortable for him. That's more chitzonius in this context.
Let's first translate the word pnimim chitzonim, and then apply to the motion. How would you translate pnimim chitzonim?
Pnimius would be the fundamental. What's closer to this fundamental?
How do they merit that title? How do they merit that title?
Pnimius?
Pnimim. Things are pnimim. And then in this act of eating, in the proper way of eating, there are pnimim in details and chitzonim.
What's more primary and what's secondary?
Okay. Primary and secondary is fine, but why pnimi?
Like why inside versus out?
They relate more strongly to the main concept, the main point.
And what is the main point?
Well, here in this case, in many cases we deal with a kind of human dignity or human stature.
Pnimi means, in other words, put it down in simple term directly. Pnimi is that which touches the human being more directly. Chitzoni is that which is periphery to that act.
Yeah, we had before the table and then the cloth. Well, that was more. Yeah, that was essential and secondary.
These are all correct terms, but expressing the word pnimi and chitzoni. Pnimi means internal to the human being. It's more representative of the human being. Chitzoni means it is less representative. It's part of that general principle, but it's not touching the human being with that same impact as a pnimi.
Right. Is there an expression in English which may be helpful here? Since we mentioned chitzoni, there's an expression in English: the devil is in the details. So which occurred to me earlier. I don't know if this is like zeh or people get stuck into the things that are secondary and then they cannot get back to what the main human condition, the main human concept is. It just kind of comes to mind, and I thought it might help clarify.
So go ahead. If it clarifies, tell me.
I should think. Well, for me, it's an open question, but it seems to be as if people get caught up in some or many of the secondary items and then lose track of what was primary and then have inability to decide and navigate.
Okay, let's leave primary. Let's use the words of
Chitzoni, they get caught up. Yeah, if this devil is in the details applies at all here, it would seem like people get caught up in what is chitzoni, what is external, and then are
in our situation, what's pnimi and chitzoni?
Dealing with a lot of conflicts there. Well, in our situation, meaning the mashal of the meal, I guess chitzoni would be, are the forks silver plated or are they stainless steel? Is the table dressing, roses or tulips?
So it does not affect. It's not part of the meal of eating at all.
It's part of the human setting, right? So it's
No,
so
that's a
secondary.
separate. It's not in secondary. It's not part of
It's
the
not
eating
part of
act,
it.
the experience of eating.
Just the way, from my experience in these classes, that you never use the word chitzenis, but things which are purely technical, or closer to being more technical, those are chitzenis. Things which are less technical, but closer to the main point, those are pneumius. And I know how, not that I can define it, but I know that people define other people as chitzenim versus pneumium.
Think with me for a moment, okay? We're not used to being challenged to identify these things. In this act of eating, in a proper way, there are two distinct areas. There's that which the person himself, to himself, experiences. And that which is only in consequence, as a circumstance. There are people around. He said, I'm embarrassed to eat this way. It doesn't bother me myself. But under the circumstances, this is chitzoni. What it looks like. One is what my experience is, the other is what it looks like. Okay? So there are pratim that are more pnimi, which means they actually represent the human being himself, and they affect him. And if he indulges in these things, it's actually going to affect him. It's going to make him more coarse if he does not follow these rules. And then there's chitzoni, which are not that essential for him, his personal well-being. Everything is important.
They're more for the sake of appearance. They're more.
But he has to maintain self-respect even in taking appearance, but he doesn't compare self-respect unto himself.
Right. I need to go to Mickey.
Okay. So we're going to Mickey.
I'd like
And
to.
we're going to. Yeah, sure. Okay, have a great day. This is it for this morning. If you think of further elaboration of pnimi chitzoni at the meal table, please do so.
Yeah, share it on WhatsApp.
Share it on top. Have a great day.
Yeah.